Hey guys, it's Saturday and it's a miracle I'm doing this because we have had a crazy day and I have wanted to do this all day, but it's just taken me a minute to get on here. I'm glad to be here and excited to finish out our challenge for the week. I am Anastasia Aruz and I am a family therapist and also a family coach. And I love to work with families on helping them get healthier and happier and just all around enjoy being together. So today we're going to finish out the week with why it's important to have fun. I'm going to talk a little bit about the brain and what we need to do with our brain and what happens when we're having fun with it and why it's important that we keep our brain healthy. And that includes having fun in our lives. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. Look here. So let's talk about fun. All right. How does your family have fun? What are things that you do with your family? Is it at home typically? Is it usually on trips? Is it when you're outside, inside? Just with your family? Do you do it with your friends? Like, how does your family like to have fun? I know with us and my family, one of the big things that we really, really enjoy is traveling. And I noticed that when we travel, that's kind of when everyone lets their guards down, when everyone really becomes truly who they are, and we really have fun. That's I something I enjoy, and my husband does, and the kids do. So it's something that we really enjoy for our family. The other thing that we really love to do is go in the pool. The pool is another time I notice that we really have a good time. Everyone is just enjoying themselves. So I want you to think a minute. When do you notice in your family where everyone is really enjoying themselves, just intrinsically, really having a good time together? Because that's important to know, right? So think about that. So here is a picture of the brain. How much do you know about the brain? So as I have been in my field for a while now, I get more and more interested in the brain. And I think it is fascinating because it's basically our computer that controls everything. And as I get older, I realize how much trauma that I've had or someone else has had in their life that contributes to how they act, right? So there's actually this really good book. On a side note, I'll tell you by Oprah and Bruce Perry called "What Happened to You." So instead of like thinking about what's wrong with you, like right, so say you have a lot of relationship issues or you have some depression or whatever it is, right? It's always going to be related to something that's probably happened to you in your life and you have trauma from something. So it's not what's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's probably something that happened to you as a child or adolescent that has done something to the brain and how you function. And that's why. But that book is a great book. So it's called What Happened to You if you are interested in brain research at all. And it's written at a lower, like it's not written on like some scientific high level and what's cool about it, if you do the Audible version, Oprah is like talking through it with Bruce Perry, but then she has like excerpts from her shows from way back. And it's interesting because it talks a lot about those people that she would have on her shows and why they did the things they did and what she learned from that. And it's really good. But anyway, getting back to this brain and fun. So looking at the brain, do you know about the brain? So we have the brain. I'm only going to focus on like three parts, making this very simple for today. So there's the brain stem, which is that orange part right there that you can see with that hand. So the brain stem is what controls like our automatic functions for life. So that's like going to be your breathing, your heart rate, sleeping, eating, your balance, your coordination. It connects to the spinal cord. So if someone has a stroke, usually that's the part that has been impacted with that. So that's the orange part of the brain. That is the brain stem. The next part we're going to talk about is the frontal lobe. And that is the part where that green part where that book is. So that part is your thinking and your planning, your organizing. That's going to be your problem solving and also short-term memory. So that's going to be like if you're in school or you're at work, when you're focused and you're really thinking, that's going to be that part of the brain that's really, really working. So when I was in a school working, a lot of times the kids that would have a hard time with that part of their brain are kids that would have had some kind of trauma or been going through something like a death in the family or a divorce or something because they can't focus there. That's the thinking, planning part. And it's hard to do that when you have something that's going on in your life that's stressful. Then the other part of the brain that we're going to talk about is that turquoise part where the heart is, and that is the limbic system. That is the part where it's your emotions, right? That's going to be where you process your emotions. It's going to store all your memories. It's where the fight flight response happens. Sexual arousal, that's the part of the brain that is impacted for that. You also have learning there, feelings like a fear and anxiety. That's where all that part is being controlled in that little part of the brain. Those are going to be those emotional responses that happen. So those 3 parts of the brain, plus there's so much more that goes into it, are really important, right? So that's why we need to have fun. That's why we need to be doing this with our kids. That's why we need to be focusing on what they enjoy. That's why you need to focus on what you enjoy, because you need your brain to be healthy and functioning at its highest point in all 3 of those areas. And to do that, you have to bring fun into your life. You've got to have some relaxation. You have to have times that you are not stressed, that you are enjoying your life, where you're making those memories, where you are processing new things that are all going into that brain. So that's why we need that. So it improves your relationships with other people. It reduces stress. It creates bonds with others. You get better sleep. It increases your creativity. It improves mood. And this all sounds like it would be just like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I already know that? And you do know this already. But I think a lot of times we get so bogged down with just everything in life, we forget that we really need to be having fun every single day and to building it in if you're not. So going back to that calendar, going back to that time blocking, do you need to be a person that actually blocks in 15 minutes? I'm going to go have fun right now. I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to cook one of my favorite desserts. Or I'm going to go have fun and I'm going to go have sex with my husband. What is it that you're going to do that is fun during your day? And then building that in with your kids as well. So making sure that you are building that in, you're teaching them that fun is important. And if it's not happening intrinsically in your family, then building it into that calendar schedule, however you need to do it. So plan it out on that calendar. Make sure you have date nights, individual times with kids, at work even. You can bring in fun at work. Maybe you have a small office, so bring everybody a coffee or bring a box of donuts. Or if you want to go be healthy, go to Publix or a grocery store beforehand and buy a fruit tray. Just add some happiness and fun in to work. Or maybe plan, be in charge of birthdays at your work and you celebrate each birthday or a birthday month or whatever it is. So you can build fun all the time. It just has to be purposeful sometimes if it's not already happening. So make sure that you look at your calendar. Do you need to plan out some fun? Make sure to think about what fun means to everyone. And then plan out time for that. And if you found all of these things that we've talked about this week, right, interesting, or you feel like it's helpful, I am doing a 3-day masterclass in July, the 18th, 19th, and 20th of 5 strategies to be a better mom. And I'm going to go way deeper into all the things that we've talked about. I'm going to talk about the brain more. We'll talk about getting organized, a lot of support with behavior, working with you on how to support your kids if they're struggling emotionally or academically. I can help you with all of that. So if you're interested, send me a DM, add your favorite emoji in the comments. I can definitely help you with all of those things. That's all I've done in my career is I worked in schools forever. So when it comes to education and kids struggling, I can help you with that. When it comes to helping you with behavior, definitely. So let me know. It's going to be in July, so it's next month, but keep that in mind. So finally, the journal time. What fun do you have with your family? Do you need to plan it? What are things your kids like to do? What do you like to do? What does your partner like to do? How are you feeding that brain? What are you putting into that brain to make it what it needs to be? Just take a minute and just think about it, because I don't think it's something that cognitively we're always like, how is fun affecting me, right? So anyway, I hope this was helpful, guys. I hope this week has been helpful. I would love to know what you thought about it. Leave a review in the comments somewhere. I would love to have any type of review or feedback of what you thought of this week and the 5 different days and the 5 different topics. What else you're interested in learning about. I would love to share more. Anyway, have a great rest of the weekend. See you soon. Bye.